Pats Nation, welcome back into another post game here on the Patriots Global Show. Your boy Colby, your boy Rob back here with another one. And yeah, me and Rob are just sitting here. That's why we're a couple minutes late. We're just sitting here for the last couple minutes, just wondering, how do we do the show? How do we start the show? How do we go about the show? Do we sit here? Do we be calm with you guys? Or do we just give our raw reactions? Do we get to feel the moment like you guys are feeling the moment? And I think that is just best if me and Rob come at this, giving our initial thoughts, wide range, how we're feeling right now, get everything out in the beginning, and then we'll start breaking down each and every single position, going from the offense, going to the defense, getting into our thoughts about each and every single position group, talking about statistically how do these guys perform like we do each and every single week. But it is beyond frustrating when you lose a game by 7 points that you were in all game long despite 5 turnovers. Rob and I said the exact same thing. I said this. I posted a short after the game here on YouTube. I posted it on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, all that good stuff. That this loss by the New England Patriots was not the Pittsburgh Steelers being good, okay? In fact, the Pittsburgh Steelers might have been my biggest takeaway from this game. After all the additions this team has made, people saying, oh, the Steelers are legit this season. The Steelers are the exact same team that we've seen every single year. They will be good enough to get one of the final playoff seeds in the AFC, but they'll be a first-round exit, just like they are every single year. Despite everything they added, they are not a good team. They barely beat the Jets week 1, 34-32. They get dog-walked last week by the Seahawks, and then they almost lose to the Patriots, who had 5 turnovers. The truth of the matter is that if the New England Patriots just turn the ball over even twice, not even 5 times, just twice, they definitely still win this game. 2 of their 5 turnovers came into the end zone when they were right about to get points. That is 14 points, free points the New England Patriots had, but they took off the board that ultimately came down to 7 points. This was brought to you by the New England Patriots themselves. This is not me hating. This is not me hating on the Steelers. I actually had a lot of hope for the Steelers heading into the season. I originally thought this was going to be a loss for the Patriots until I saw how bad the Steelers were throughout the first 2 weeks. No, this was because of what we did to ourselves. It's been the same storyline for this team over the last 3 years, shooting themselves in the foot. Inopportune turnovers, inopportune penalties. Those are the 2 things that have been centered around the New England Patriots, dating even back to 2022, and they presented themselves yet again in this game. I mean, the Patriots even driving down the field in that final offensive possession, this team was 4 for 4 on 4th down. The one time they don't convert was in the most pivotal point of the game because of Demario Douglas. And Rob, I have the picture pulled up, so we will get into that play by Pop Douglas.
Please pull it up. Please pull it up, because I'm tired of making excuses for this. Oh, I didn't make excuses for this guy. I'm tired of Pats Nation making excuses for this guy. Look at this guy right here, to our right. Why? Please stop making excuses for this guy. I'm done with him. I'm done with Ramondre Stevenson. I'm done with these guys. And I apologize ahead of time, y'all. I have, if y'all noticed lately, I've cut down on my swearing. So if I curse throughout the stream, understand it is just because I love this team so much. But for fuck's sake, what the fuck is that? What is that? Because you know what? How do you, this is year, 3, 4 for him now by now? You don't just fall forward. What are you doing?
You saw Pop Douglas on the sidelines after that play. Head is down, back is down. I think that Pop Douglas is a good player, and I think that what he did was that he tried to do what he did early on in the game, which ultimately he stepped out of bounds, so it really didn't matter. But had that nice little juke stick where he went down, and he's a hard guy to tackle because he's 5'8", but this is not the time to make that type of play. This is not the time where you're trying to create magic and you're trying to be a superhero and put on the cape and win the game within that one play. All you're trying to do is in that moment get 2-3 yards to convert on that 4th down. And the thing is that, Rob, you see that he has the ball right there. This is a still image of the second that he catches the ball. He goes down. immediately turns his shoulders and goes to the ground. He can probably avoid a hit, but he's definitely going to convert the first. He was slow to turn around. He didn't get down fast. And by the time he did, he realized, oh shit, I went down too slow. And now I got to try to make something happen after the catch. It's situational awareness. And Drake Maye actually put this on him. Drake Maye came out in postgame and said, no, that play to Pop was my fault. In the huddle, I should have told those guys that.
No,
Drake. It's not on Drake Maye. And that's Drake Maye, the leader, talking, obviously. But that is on Pop Douglas. Pop Douglas and the entire team needs to understand the fundamentals of football, situational football, understand what down it is, understand how much time is on the clock. You are in a 2-minute drill at this point. When he caught that ball, there was 1 minute and 5 seconds left in the game. All you had to worry about in that specific moment was getting the ball and converting to make sure you live to see another down, and he didn't do that. And unfortunately for somebody like Pop Douglas, who balled out in the offseason, balled out in joint practice, was Drake Maye's number one target, he has not shown that now through 3 weeks of the regular season. And to come down with a play like that, where he already isn't getting a whole lot of usage, where the fan base is questioning him, that is the play that Pop Douglas did not need to have. I mean, I understand the personnel grouping, and I know some people are asking themselves why late in the game, Pop Douglas is a guy that is being utilized and targeted as much as he is. Unfortunately, when you're benching Antonio Gibson, you're benching Ramondre Stevenson, there's only so many players that you can throw out there, and it's just unfortunate that play couldn't go to a veteran. That play couldn't go to a Stephon Diggs, a Matt Collins, a Hunter Henry, an Austin Hooper. It had to go to a guy that's 5'8" and is struggling with consistency with this team. Honestly, Rob, me personally, and I understand that Pop Douglas is a fast guy. He gets open. He's a great guy. But in a pivotal moment like that, you need to have your reliable security blankets on the field to make sure you convert there. Not guys that have shown you inconsistency, and not guys who have shown that, at least right now, they're not reliable.
That was Jacoby Myers pitching the football to Mac Jones. That is literally that level of stupidity. Because it's like, why does Drake Maye have to take the blame? I get it. Like, he had some turnovers. One, I don't know how much I blame him on the interception. It got like tipped at the line. That was just a great play by Cam Hayward. The fumble, I mean, like, he's trying to make something out of nothing, people. And if there's a game that he's at fault, I will blame him. But like, this is just ridiculous. Why is it that we have to have Drake Maye? I love that he does that. But we got to stop making excuses for these players anymore. Ramondre Stevenson, get your pink slips. You haven't changed a bit. I said this 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember, Colby. I was one of the very few people that was like, you know what? Nope, don't bring him back. This is before the fumbling problem. Actually, no, he's been fumbling since his rookie season. The one play against, the Bengals, where he fumbled the game away there. No, this guy has been known for this. But I called this 2 years ago. I was like, when he came up for the possibility of re-signing him here, I was like, nope, don't bring him back. Please don't bring him back. You do not pay running backs unless they're the echelon of a Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, or they've proven that they can be consistent enough that they're not going to fall off a cliff. He had one good year. And done nothing. I can't even point to one good year with Pop Douglas. At least Mondre, with his fumbling problems, he's had one good year. What the hell has Pop done? Why are we putting this guy on such a pedestal that he's supposed to be this guy that everybody regards as, oh yeah, he's going to be our wide receiver one. This is the next up and coming guy. You know what? I got a lot of notes. Fuck the notes. Because honestly, at this point, what am I going to read off? What am I going to talk about? I wrote so much stuff down. I stopped writing after the third quarter. I was like, what the fuck is this? What the hell is this? This is disgusting to look at. Again, I apologize if I'm just, this is raw emotion, guys.
Hey guys, look, that's what you get here at Patriots Global, okay? Because we're our own bosses, baby. So that means that we don't have to be suit and tie. We don't have to make sure that we don't curse on the show. We can give you guys raw emotions because
I
we are
have
the
been so
voice
much better
for
with
the
not
fans,
cursing.
baby. We are the voice for the fans. We're going to give you real statistical breakdowns, but we're also going to give you raw damn emotions because who the hell is going to stop us? It ain't nobody, okay? We got a lot to get into. You guys are being very generous with the super chats, and I want to get with you guys. Isaiah comes in here, $10 donation, and says, put Henderson as running back 1. So look, here's my thing. You can't do that, okay? I like Henderson, but I think we saw today that when they had to bench both of their running backs, 2 out of 3, Henderson becomes the bell cow. He has this ability to be good in pass protection, receive the ball, obviously has his speed on the ground, but during his time at Ohio State, he dealt with injuries. He wasn't as good when he was the bell cow there. They went into the transfer portal. They got Quinshawn Judkins. They used him 50% and 50% Travion Henderson, and Henderson immediately becomes a much better running back. He doesn't deal with the injury problems. Henderson's game is all about speed, elusiveness, and shiftiness. If you play him too much and he gets tired and that engine is gone come the third, fourth quarter, then he's not going to be as good of a running back because what makes him so dynamic is now taken away. So that's why you don't want to make Henderson your running back 1. It's also going to be recency bias, but let's also remember that last week he was fine in this game, but last week Henderson also did struggle big time with picking up blitzes. He allowed a sack. He had 3 penalties. So right now, over the last 2 weeks, really every single running back here in New England has struggled to a certain degree, but I do understand why Patriots fans are, asking that question about Henderson. Patriots 92 comes in here with a $5 donation. It says the Patriots are 3-15 at home since the start of the 2023 season. Pathetic. And Patriots 92, I'm so glad that you brought up that statistic because today the Patriots had this opportunity to do the final thing that Mike Vrabel said that they wanted to do during his introductory press conference. Last week, they did 2 of those things. They took advantage of bad football, and they also beat an in-division rival competing for the division. Vrabel also established the fact that they want to start winning at home. And I'm sure that that's something that Robert Kraft told him. If you're going to be hired here in New England, you need to start winning at home because the fans are out here with their hard-earned money paying really overpriced tickets, but which is, by the way, because a lot of you have asked, why doesn't the AFC East Roundtable do an event there? We were going to do one until we called up the ticket people, and it was insane pricing for tickets. By the way, the game was Patriots and Jets. And that pricing was absolutely insane. And so why are these fans giving their hard-earned money and hard-earned days off for a team that is 3-15 at home? It's a problem. They had the ability to turn that around. And what did they show? They show that this team is, well, first off, they're cursed in the red jerseys. But second off, they're also cursed at home. Rob, it's a situation where if somehow this team made the playoffs, I wouldn't want the first seed. I wouldn't want to play at home. That's actually a curse. I want to play on the road. The team is better on the road than they are at home. And it sucks to say because I would love for Gillette Stadium to be one of the hardest places to play in the league and it to be a real advantage for New England and to really be able to rep Gillette Stadium and that damn lighthouse. But unfortunately, 3-15, you're not able to do that.
They haven't earned the right to even have the chance to play at home. We need to pull an Eli Manning Giants. You go 9-7 or whatever it is, 9-8, and you play from home. I mean, you play away, because this team needs to learn how to earn wins. Because for God's sake, there's a lot of moments where I'm looking and I'm like, this team just has no juice. And the only reason that they started to turn around was after the Drake Maye touchdown. So this team, they're I don't know if it's just me, man. I don't know if you're noticing it. It feels like this team is hard to hype themselves up. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm seeing it. And it's just I don't want to even say it's uncharacteristic because it's at this point now, it's is this what this team is? Turn over the football, make penalties when you get big play drives, march the football down the field 80 plus yards. I think they did that 2 or 3 times and get nothing from it. I think one time actually they got a touchdown from going 80 plus yards, but it's disheartening because it's y'all can go and do your victory laps now. The season's still young for 1. 2, I don't actually think this team's that bad. I really don't. It's just they just keep on getting in their own way. And I just think that I hate to say it, I feel like they're just cursed from the things in the past. It's like, why it's a new coach, new this, new that, and it just seems to be the same old bullshit. And I'm not even blaming people. I saw people in my comment section blaming Mike Vrabel. How is Mike Vrabel's fault for 5 turnovers? How is that his fault? Could have been 6, actually.
Could have been a lot more. Could
have been 7 because if
Drake made, he should have. Yeah.
But how is Mike Vrabel to blame for that? I mean, I could probably get around to the whole penalty thing, but the turnover thing, like,
he's not the one throwing the football.
Exactly. So how is he to blame?
On the ground.
I don't know about you, Colby. I'm done. No matter what Mondre does for the rest of the season, no matter what Pop does for the rest of the season, I'm done with both of them. I'm sick of seeing either one of them take snaps. And unfortunately, it's just that we don't really have a guy. I know people mentioned in the chat that Gibson fumbled too, but like Gibson's not known for fumbling. Gibson doesn't just fumble all the time. This is a guy that keeps going up to the podium and telling us about how he carries the football to the bathroom and takes a shit with the football. But then it's like it's the same old crap. What they need to do this weekend, first of all, they shouldn't be going home. Run suicides, and they need to go to Walmart, grab some Gorilla Tape, and the whole week, not allowed to take it off. Wrap Gorilla Tape around your arm with the football inside of it, and just carry that for the whole rest of the week. So you're just stuck like this. I don't care if we go into the next week's game looking like we're trying to be chickens, but I'm tired of seeing this crap where, like, we're not losing the games. We're literally beating ourselves. And honestly, we're lucky we won last week's game. Because if it's not for Drake Maye consistently now lately putting the team on his back, and that's why you see the turnovers, or that's why you see the plays where the ball is being put in harm's way, because he's having to backpack. And it's just like, why? Plays like this, where he gives you a ball, you catch it, literally all you have to do is fall forward. And I know that's maybe that's just me talking from a football fan standpoint, that maybe, oh yeah, I don't know anything. I've never played professional down, but I mean, they're getting paid millions of dollars. How do you not know that you need to fall forward right there?
Yeah, it's just situational football.
How do you not know where you have to be?
It's just situational football. Vrabel could take responsibility. Maye can take responsibility.
That's what leaders do, dude. That's what leaders do.
It really just comes down to each individual player understanding the circumstances. But big shout out to D, $5 donation. Said, let's not forget 3 pass plays on the 5-yard line. McDaniels shaking my head. Honestly, I just wonder for McDaniels at that point, it was like, we're just not going to run the damn football at a certain point. Like, we're just going to.
I mean, do you blame McDaniel? Because every time we ran it, it was a fumble. So like, you can say, oh yeah, 3 pass plays on the 5-yard line, but it's like, okay, but have you shown that you're not going to fumble the football? So it's like, I could kind of see from his point of view. You get me? Like,
yeah, no,
you can't just say, hey, listen, why did he do that? It's like, okay, well, here's the proof. This is why I didn't do it. This is exactly why I didn't do it. The 4 or 5 fumbles or 17 fumbles, it felt like in this game. I felt like it literally felt like I don't know if I heard it in my head. Barnum and Bailey circus. This felt like, what was it, 2023 Patriots, where Mac Jones every other week is doing something stupid. This felt like that.
5 total turnovers. You had the Drake Maye interception to end the first half, sent us into halftime, and then you come out, and then immediately, you get that interception, and then you feel pretty good about where you're at. You're down by 7, and then what happens? You're driving down the field, and and then it ultimately ends up being a turnover. I mean, when you have back-to-back-to-back offensive drives with the turnover to start the second half, that's not what you feel good at. It might very well preaches to these players that the most important quarter in football is the fourth quarter, and you got to win games in the second half. And this team immediately came out in the second half and looked like absolute dog water. The fact that 4 of their 5 turnovers came in the second half is just simply not good enough. But coming here from Isaiah, says start Efton Chisholm over Demario Douglas. I think we're going to get to a point where, like, if Douglas is really going to continue to struggle, then maybe it's a conversation we have. But at the same time, too, Chisholm and Douglas are 2 very, very different players, right? Like, I think when you look at who is in that Efton Chisholm role, it's actually more Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs is primarily playing in the slot, which is where Efton Chisholm would play. Douglas is a quicker guy. He has more speed, so they can play him in the slot, but they can also play him a little bit on the outside, and they're 2 very, very different players, right? Like, Pop Douglas isn't a route running, move the chains type of guy. He's more of that quick guy. He's not going to beat you with routes and footwork. He's going to beat you with his quickness. He's going to beat you with that speed. So definitely 2 different types of players, but does it get to a point where we say, hey, instead of making Efton Chisholm consistently a healthy scratch, do we maybe make him active and make one of these other wide receivers a healthy scratch? I don't think it's too early to say that, but maybe at some point we certainly do.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I mean, it's only week 4 now. We're heading into week 4. It's a little early.
No, we're not doing that, because at the end of the day, we've heard all the hype all offseason, and he's done absolutely nothing. Look, at the end of the day, man, we need to set the precedent that if you do these things, and we talked about this in the past, if you do these things, I mean, Gerard Mayo did it last year. He said, oh yeah, Mondre, he's not going to start today. And then he started. Like, set the precedent. If people mess up to this magnitude, you put them in the doghouse. I'm done coddling. This is a what have you done for me lately league, not what you did in the past league. And what have you done for me lately is you put our team in a position where we should have beat on the Steelers today. This is not a game we should have lost. I know woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't. But you're on the goal line and you fumble this how many times? Come on. At this point, like, I'm done. Like, let's stop making excuses. Put him in the doghouse. And you know what? Honestly, I would put him on the trade block or cut him at this point. I know you probably take a cap hit, but I would take literally a bag of Skittles for him. You could take your walking papers. I am so done with Mondre. And Pop, you may get a little bit of value out of him. Honestly, I don't care if he goes to another team and pops off. I don't care if Mondre goes. I've seen people in the comment section, oh, Mondre goes to another team and pops off. And then people bring Mac Jones, whatever. Like, Cinderella, it's eventually going to strike 12, and then the pumpkin's going to. So just wait for Mac. But in terms of these 2,
sometimes too, Rob, like, I don't know. Sometimes there's just this, like, precedent. I'm not saying trade these players, but, like, what I am saying is that even if they did trade these players,
put them in the doghouse at least. I'm tired of seeing this.
There's always this precedent that if you trade a player and he goes and pops off with another team, that all of a sudden you were wrong for trading that player. Well, in reality, sometimes it's just that player needs a change of scenery and he's going to be utilized different. And sometimes it's just good for both teams, or good for both sides, rather, to where if the player stays here, he's having turnover problems and he's not working out. That's hurting the player and the team. But if he goes somewhere else and thrives, well, now the team doesn't have a player on the roster that's turning the football over, and that player is then thriving somewhere else. So I think that's a little, give and take with some of those arguments. But S27, $5 donation, my guy comes in here and says, Maye has talent, but his accuracy and decision-making and pocket awareness are not good enough. Until he proves those 3 areas, he's not a franchise quarterback. And look, I understand that Drake Maye's turnovers they are frustrating. They are frustrating, and that is part to his game. But guys, I need us to also please understand, and I'm not saying that this is who he's going to be, but Josh Allen also struggled big time with turnovers really up until last year. 2024 was the only year, and then now this year so far too, was the only years that Josh Allen really didn't have those turnovers be a problem for him. And yes, those turnovers did limit ultimately the Buffalo Bills for years, but Josh Allen was still considered a top 5 quarterback in the NFL year after year, even with those turnovers. So yes, Drake Maye needs to limit those, but I think the argument that just because he has this turnover problem and he doesn't have 3 turnovers in an entire season, that all of a sudden he's not a franchise quarterback. And the thought process that statistically how he performed today was still good. How he performed last week was good, but if he turns the football over, all of a sudden he's a bad quarterback. Are you telling me that you would rather have a quarterback with no turnovers but throws for 100 yards and rushes for another 30? Or would you rather have the quarterback that throws for 300 to 350 yards, 70 yards on the ground, but has a turnover in a game? I'd rather have the other one. And I mean, yes, he does need to be better, and I'm not trying to say he doesn't, but I thought his accuracy for the most part was pretty good today. It was good last week. I think he took a step down from what his performance was last week. But at the end of the day, like, I thought that he was doing fairly well. Yes, he had that interception. Yes, he put the ball on the ground late in the game. Yes, there were 2 plays that the ball should have been intercepted, but ultimately it was not. But other than that, Drake Maye isn't the problem. I don't want to say he's not the problem. It wasn't his fault that the team only put up.
He's not the problem, dude.
It was part of the problem, Rob. It was part of the problem.
Yes, 100% part of it.
Big glaring problem, right? There were 4 fumbles today, 3 of which were not on him. Therefore,
like, I don't know what fans are supposed to expect. What are fans expecting? Like, seriously, what are you expecting? He's still raw. I get that. But like, if he's marching, like, you know what? It baffles me. You don't see him march the football down the field on his own 6-yard line, on his own 10-yard line. He did that twice this game. One of them where he threw a pick in the end zone. Okay, if you want to, that's on him. But then the other time, Mondre fumbles it. It's like, what do you want? And then just what baffles me right now is, like, people are taking a victory lap in the comment section right now, and it's like, you're taking a victory lap on your own team right now. You're so miserable that you're happy with your team losing. Like, what? Like, just like, look at yourselves. Seriously, you're happy with losing. You should be pissed. You should be like, okay, these things need to change. No, people are doing victory laps because we lost. And now Maye sucks all of a sudden, right? Not like he put us in the chance to score several times. And then we fumble it 3 times.
Again, Drake Maye, if you want to say that he was a part of the problem today due to the interception that he had, then or the fumble he put on the ground, then of course. I mean, we're not telling you that he wasn't a part of the problem today. But what I'm saying is that it just feels like a lot of times with this fan base, it goes from last week where you win and Drake Maye's balling and Drake Maye's the future, and then you lose and it's like, well, Drake Maye sucks and Mike Vrabel's got to go. And it's not as easy as that. And it can get a lot worse than Drake Maye. And as Patriots fans, we've certainly seen that. And we also have to understand too, is that the supporting cast around him is, I think, good enough to see generally what you're going to get from him. But is the supporting cast that's around Drake Maye right now with his weapons and even with his offensive line, is it as good enough to really excel him in his young NFL career? Absolutely not. Could this wide receiver core be massively upgraded still? Yes. Could this offensive line still be upgraded? 100%. So there's still a lot more to see from Drake Maye, and I think that we see those things. I do think that he is a little bit inconsistent. He definitely needs to be better. But guys, outside of that Pop Douglas terrible play that is still on the screen, which I should probably take off so we don't get PTSD at some point.
Please, take it off.
Before that, the Patriots were 4 of 4 on 4th down. The amount of times that Drake Maye was under pressure, the amount of times that no receivers were open downfield and he's running with his legs, Drake Maye's game translates really well to today's modern version of the NFL with what he can do through the air and with what he can do on the ground. It's just
don't say that
he has to limit.
Don't say that, man. They're going to ignore all those plays. Listen, we're not excusing the turnovers. They shouldn't happen. But he's having to play hero ball because of plays like this. Because of plays of his running backs that are fumbling the football and basically making where, like, he's 23 years old and he's feeling like he's having to literally put this team on his back. Please tell me who his wide receiver 1 is. His running back is literally doing the same crap as last year. Like what? What do you want him to do? Please tell me. What player would flourish in this system? And not in this system. That's not what I was going for. Who would flourish in this situation? And if you say anybody other than Tom Brady, you're playing yourself. That is probably the only quarterback that could flourish in this situation.
It's important to remember too that Ramondre Stevenson, Ramondre Stevenson is underrated in catching the ball. I will say that, but he's not a pass catching back. That's not what he's considered. That's not his game. If you're looking for that third down pass catching back, you're not like, oh, let me go pick up Ramondre Stevenson if you're an offense. But that has been Drake Maye's second leading receiver in back-to-back weeks. Actually, I think last week Ramondre was his number one leading receiver.
He was, right? That's crazy.
Out of 3 weeks.
Yes,
out of
he
3
was.
weeks. Last week, his leading receiver. This week, his second leading receiver, despite being benched for the majority of the game.
A running back.
Says something about the supporting cast. So, again, I don't think it's the end-all, be-all for Drake Maye. I'm not telling you that, 100%, it's all going to be perfect. It's going to work itself out. But if teams league-wide are worried about Drake Maye, if literally Sean McDermott, the Buffalo Bills head coach last year, said he wants someone to trade for Drake Maye so he doesn't have to face him twice a year, if players and league executives and people in front offices and head coaches, they are seeing Drake Maye ball out and they're scared of him, that should say something to Patriots fans. And the reason that they're struggling, maybe it's just more so what's around him. Needs to limit the turnovers. But last thing I'm going to say about this is, again, Josh Allen would lead the NFL in turnovers, but was still considered a top 5 quarterback in the league. Okay. You can turn over the football, but still be a good quarterback, still be a franchise quarterback, but just need to figure out ways that you can ultimately limit that. But moving on here to Eric, $5 donation says, this team isn't bad. It's undisciplined when it comes to the fundamentals of football. Eric, could not have said that better myself. And I think, Rob, what we also have to understand is I feel like they went out and they made all of these moves and they got really good players and they had what we expect to be a good draft. And you bring in Mike Vrabel and you bring in Josh McDaniels. And I think some fans immediately thought that straight off the bat, this was going to be a good team. And I will say that under Vrabel, I did think it would be maybe a cleaner football team. But we have to understand this is year one of a brand new system. Okay, we're only heading into week 4. This game was only week 3 of a brand new regime. Defensively, offensively, it's Drake Maye's first year starting the entire year. There's brand new pieces. It's going to take time for this team to really gel together and figure things out. I think from a lot of different standpoints, we are seeing this team develop. I think that the offense we saw today, outside of the turnovers, if they can just stop that, this offense is already very, very different compared to what we saw week 1. The run defense is a lot better than we expected it to be. When you get Christian Gonzalez back, that secondary is going to be even better. And even then, today, they allowed Aaron Rodgers to go for just over 100 yards. Heading into the end of the third quarter, he hadn't even passed for 100 yards at that point. This team is getting better. But it just comes down to, again, making sure that they're gelling together, making sure that they're playing clean football, understanding fundamentals, and all being on the same page. And unfortunately, that is something that does take time for a team that is brand new and still trying to figure things out and figure out their identity and who they are and how they can all be on the same page. I'm not trying to give excuses. I'm just trying to say that these are important things that are facts of life that we do have to remember. But big shout out to Tom Brady also, who says TD, Dan, and Richie can laugh, but they may never see a Super Bowl. 100% Tom Brady. But I mean, the other thing too is
that's in the past, man.
Dan is the only one who could laugh at this point, and I really don't think he is even laughing at these losses for the Patriots. I really don't think that he cares about them if you're a Buffalo Bills fan. But Jets lost today. Dolphins lost on Thursday Night Football. The Patriots are still second in the AFC East, and outside of the Bills, they're the only one in the AFC East that actually has a win so far. So right now, I don't think anybody in the AFC East can be laughing.
Can I point out something?
Yes, you can.
In the first 2 years, the first 2 seasons, so people were hyping up how Drake Maye's turned over the football, right? Do you consider Dan Marino a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Do you consider Peyton Manning a Hall of Famer?
Both top 10 quarterbacks all time, no debate.
Do you consider Josh Allen a Hall of Famer? Possible, right? He's up there.
I think when it's all said and done, he ultimately will be, yeah.
Okay. Do you consider Thomas Edward Brady a Hall of Famer? Obviously.
No.
Okay. Okay. So listen to this. And I was like, let me go just look this up real quick. Dan Marino in his first 2 seasons had 60 turnovers. Peyton Manning, his first 2 seasons, had 60 turnovers. Tom Brady, in his first 2 seasons, had 38 turnovers. So maybe he might be the outlier. 38. Josh Allen, his first 2 seasons, had 55 turnovers. I rest my case.
He's a young quarterback. He's a young quarterback. Okay, he didn't start the entire year last year, and it's.
I don't think Maye had 60 turnovers. No. He's getting there, but
it's not that bad. It's not that bad yet. Not that bad yet. But again, there's a long way to go. Patriots 92 comes in here with a $5 donation and says Will Campbell's next gen stats against the Steelers: 47 passing snaps, 7 pressures, 0 sacks, 87.2 on his one-on-one win percentages. Excuse me. That's what we should call it. Will percentages for Will Campbell. I think that'd be kind of hard. Will percentages. There we go. Campbell percentages, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out in another show. But nonetheless, yes, Will Campbell did ball out. And we'll talk about that when we get into the offensive line. But Rob, I do want to get into each of these positions. But before we do that, just a couple of house cleaning things that I do quickly want to get into. So let me pull these up real quick. Let me share this image. Okay. So first one I want to share is this one. Total score, obviously 21-14. Turnovers, the Patriots had 5, while the Steelers had 1. Total yards. Can you believe that only 14 points, but the Patriots scored almost, or not scored, but put up almost 400 total yards of offense with 387 compared to Pittsburgh's 203. The Patriots were averaging 5.5 yards per play compared to the Steelers' 4.1. Third down efficiency, New England was 6 of 13. The Steelers were 4 of 9. Time of possession, they had 26 minutes. New England won with 33 minutes and 20 seconds.
That's crazy.
And then penalties, they had 8 penalties for 59 yards. We had 7 penalties for 54 yards. So really, we won in every single category, if you think about it, really just outside of the penalties, because that's what lost the Patriots this game. There was no other category. The Patriots won every single category outside of that one. Even looking at the success rate, the Patriots had a success rate of 46.5%. The Steelers had a 45.7%. Patriots pass yards per attempt, 7.24. Steelers, 6.04. Rush yards per carry, Patriots 4.10, Steelers 2.46. Even if you want to look at some of these other stats, I'll put it right there for you. Pressure rate, Patriots 16.7%. Raiders. Steelers 40.4%. Blitz rate, Patriots 37.5%. The Steelers 42.6%. Kind of gives you a little bit of an insight on the defensive side of those analytics. But Rob, let's go ahead and let's just break down our thoughts on each of these. And I know we talked a lot about Drake Maye, but I just want to know anything that you haven't said about Drake Maye at this point that you kind of just wanted to wrap us up here with. He was 28 of 37 today, so another good completion percentage. Last week was 82%. The week before that, week 1 was 60-some%, but going into halftime, he was at 75%. But he goes 268 yards in this game, 9.6 yards on average, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 5 times, and an overall rating of 102.1. Any of your final thoughts on him?
Look, like people are saying in the chat, we can't be making excuses for him because he had a chance to score at the end of the half and he didn't. He threw an interception. Okay, so, like, I can be, but he played decent today. Decent.
I don't put that interception on him, Rob. And not to cut you off, I'm just that one annoys me because
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate at this point because people are literally taking victory laps in the comment section. It's just it doesn't make any sense to me that like they're saying that this guy is making all these mistakes and just ignoring all the things that lead up to it. Like he's having played hero ball.
There's a such thing as turning the football over, but it not being on anybody on the offensive side of the football. Sometimes it's just a better play on the defensive side of the football. Sometimes defensive players go ahead and make crazy athletic plays. Sometimes turnovers do just happen. They're a part of the game. And sometimes people just want somebody to blame. And I think that's what the situation was. Look, at the end of the day, could it have been a bit of a better throw? I guess. But
if it wasn't tipped, that's a touchdown.
It's a wide open Kayshon Boutte. He goes to him. Cam Hayward makes a crazy play where he times it up perfectly, gets his hands on the football. The football is now off the path that it was originally on and intercepted. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is Drake Maye not supposed to pass the football over the defensive line? over the trenches. Like,
yeah, I don't know
because if a defensive lineman times it up perfectly, then they're going to bat it down. It's just very rare that happens. But Cam Hayward came in and just made a crazy play on it.
I'm 50-50 on that, because it's like, I can see what they're coming from in the comment section about talking about how that's on Maye and how the turnovers, because he has to clean it up, man. But in the same sense, I also agree with you as well. He's having to like march the football down the field 90 plus yards, and it's just bad luck right now. I don't know if there needs to be some kind of shaman that needs to go into the damn locker room and just kind of wave the incense and get that negative energy out of the damn locker room. But I'm just like, I get where they're coming from. Like, I really do. They're tired of seeing these turnovers. They need someone to blame. And you know what? Like, I can see it, but I can also say that, like, it's like, what do you want him to do? There's too many times where like their ball's fumbled, and this game should have been a freaking blowout.
I understand where fans are coming from. If that had happened like midfield, I would have been a little bit more on like, okay, Maye, like you got to put that ball over the defensive line. But
Ashton, how is he supposed to throw the football away there?
You're in the red zone is just what I'm saying, right? You're in the red zone. Everything is condensed. That's why teams don't really like, the majority of teams don't really like to pass the ball in the red zone, because the chances of an interception or a turnover significantly go up because everything is in a more condensed space. So Drake Maye can't really put that football over the defensive line, because then it's not going to get to Kayshon Boutte, who's a couple yards in front of him. It really was, to me, just a crazy athletic play by Cam Hayward, who timed it up perfectly. And it's just at that point, it was just a tip drill for the secondary of the Steelers. That's really all it was.
Do you have 1 second? I would have to get to my note. Screw it. I'm not going to go dig my notes. Do you know, or do you remember how many turnovers we had before that Maye interception? Was it like, because there had been a reason why we're throwing on the goal line, that we stopped. I guess we weren't running it, because if I remember, we fumbled at least 2 times before that.
So on that Drake Maye interception before half?
Yeah.
How many interceptions did he have this season, or just in this game?
No, I'm talking about like why we decided to throw it instead of run it in that situation. Or
I think that they just felt better about their chances, because the Steelers had several pieces out in that secondary. Their secondary was really, really banged up, but that defensive line is still good. You still have Cam Hayward. You still have TJ Watt. And like I said, when it's condensed and you're in the red zone, it can be a little bit difficult to get any type of offensive production. So I think that they kind of just said, pick your own poison, and they felt better about passing the ball in that instance, which, again, I don't blame them for doing so. It should have worked. You had Kayshon Boutte wide open, but again, a crazy athletic play was made by the Steelers, and they get a lucky play. Like that to me is all it was. We're not saying they shouldn't have passed the football if that does end up being a touchdown, at least in my opinion. So, but as you can see on the screen, this is per Next Gen Stats. This was all of Drake Maye's passes. You can see where exactly each and every single pass was. The green means it was completed. The red means it was an interception. Blue means touchdown. And white means incomplete, meaning that you can see that Drake Maye, for the most part, Drake Maye was very, very good in this game with his accuracy, his ball placement, where he was going. Definitely a lot of short to intermediate. That's the classic Josh McDaniels offense. But you do see some intermediate to deep throws also. So again, I think if Drake doesn't put the ball in harm's way, we're not really talking about this being a bad game. I think he gets praised for some of the good things he was doing. But again, football is what have you done for me lately? And if you lose a game, fans are going to look at who am I supposed to blame for this loss? So look, whatever, it's all right. I understand it. But Rob, let's go ahead and let's transition into these running backs. We kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier on. Drake Maye leads the Patriots in rushing yards today, which, again, not exactly putting your young quarterback in a position to succeed when he has to lead you in rushing yards, but is what it is. Drake with 7 attempts, 45 total yards, 6.4 yards per carry, 1 fumble lost, and a long run of 15 yards. That fumble did come late in the game where it looked like he got the snap, he got panicked, he got pressured, internal clock got sped up, He should have thrown the ball away. He should have taken the sack. What does he do? He tries to put on the cape, tries to make something happen. And you just saw as soon as he went to rush, as soon as that ball hit the ground, he realized that everything he had been working on to not do in 2025 is exactly what he just did on that play. It's the same thing we saw in the preseason. It's the same thing we saw several times last year in 2024. Puts the ball on the ground, gets strip sacked. But Antonio Gibson, second for the Patriots in rushing yards, 7 attempts, 28 total yards, 4 yards per carry. Also a fumble, long run of 11 yards. Travion Henderson gets the most attempts on the ground today, 11 attempts, 28 yards. Only 2.5 yards per carry, though, was really, really rough for him. Ramondre Stevenson, 4 carries, 18 yards, 4.5 yards per carry. So what sucks is that the Patriots were definitely getting some production on the ground. Patriots were running the ball effectively enough to be able to open up the play action game, to be able to open up the overall passing game today. Antonio Gibson wasn't bad, 4 yards per carry. Ramondre Stevenson wasn't bad, 4.5 yards per carry. Unfortunately, those guys couldn't be utilized after their fumbling problems, and they were benched. It got to a point where Drake Maye, again, 37 pass attempts. Patriots had to pass the ball so damn much because they didn't have a running back group that they felt good enough that they could rely on. It sucked because if those guys don't fumble the football, I think we see a lot more from the rushing attack today because they were moving the ball on the ground in Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson prior to those turnovers.
I don't know what much more to add. Like, we were moving the football. There was consecutive drives that we were moving the football, whether it be running it or passing it. Like, the Steelers weren't doing anything special. Yes, they got home a couple times and sacked Drake Maye. But it's not like we weren't moving the football. There's several times, like, how many fourth downs we converted? Like, this team was moving the football. It had opportunities. But it's like, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because if you turn over the football, whatever you did up until that point means nothing.
Yeah, there's a stat that I want to share here too. I want to make sure that I get this right. When you look at Ramondre Stevenson after that first fumble, and look, this is something that I'm actually glad that they are doing. I know that Ramondre, prior to those fumbles, he actually had good moments week 1. He looked really good week 2. He actually had some really good moments in this game too. They benched him for 11 snaps after that first fumble. Then they allowed him to get back on the field. Gets back on the field, fumbles again, and then they end up not giving him, I don't think they gave him a single carry after that, if I remember correctly. They gave him 2. Ramondre Stevenson was on the field for just 2 snaps after that second fumble, but I don't think they gave him any opportunities for those 2 snaps that he was on the field. So at least that they are disciplining him. If you fumble, you're not going to get playing time. Unlike last year's situation where Ramondre's fumbling, we're told he's in the doghouse by Gerard Mayo, and then, they sit him for one play and they put him back out there. So at least there's that. I think that at least is a positive, if you want to call that a positive.
I mean,
the Patriots are also, Rob, get this. The Patriots are also the first team with multiple turnovers inside their opponent's 5-yard line since the Philadelphia Eagles game in 2023 against the Washington Commanders. Not exactly the right side of history that this running back group wants to be on.
Like, I do feel for the guy. He's gone through so much, and I don't need to go into detail what he went through this offseason. Like, I feel for him. But at the end of the day, man, he's not reliable. He's making these at some point now, it's the nail in the coffin. I'm done seeing him on the field. I don't know if he's got to be used in an emergency role or something. This is why I wish we had our 4th running back. Somebody needs to be elevated next game from the practice squad, and he needs to sit in the doghouse for at least 2 games. I can't. He needs to know that there's repercussions for constantly doing this, because he's not the way he runs the football is he instead of tucking it, I feel like he is careless. He's not I've seen running backs to hold the football like this. Do something different, maybe. At this point, I don't know what needs to change with him, because I don't. He's a damn good running back, dude. Outside of the turnovers, he really is. As much as I said up until this point, I don't want to see this guy fail. I don't. I want to see him succeed. I'm really rooting for him. But at this point, it's like he's putting the ball, like these games are going to kill the whole like morale of this team. And then you're just basically repeating what you did in 2023. And what happens is you're going to get a lot of people pointing fingers. It can because they're going to be like, okay, why do you keep putting this guy out there? If he keeps putting us like they're marching the football down the field, and they're about to score, and he fumbles it. At some point, they're gonna be like, okay, why is he doing this? Like, what are the coaches doing to reprimand this guy for doing this? Like, is there repercussions for his inabilities?
Part of me wonders, though, and I'm not saying they shouldn't discipline him, but what I'm saying is that at this point, I just don't even know what benching him is going to do, because it's not a situation.
He may actually destroy his confidence at this point.
I feel like for Ramondre, the problem isn't that he doesn't care or that he doesn't think that this is a problem. He knows it's a problem. If you saw his post-game interview, he knows it's a problem. And Vrabel and Maye saying, we need him. We are relying on him. And him saying, yeah, well, if I don't take care of the football, this is an exact quote. If I don't take care of the football, they don't need me. That's what he said. That's
that hurt me, man.
And that hurt. I mean, did you see him on the sideline after that second fumble, slamming his helmet to the ground? People are trying to come up to him and talk to him and put him in a good mindset. And he just doesn't give an F. Like, he looks like if one more person talks to him, he's going to beat the living heck out of him. Like, I think he knows. He knows about the fumbling problem. I think it's just an actual problem. And I'm not sure exactly what it is. Like, I don't know if he's too in his mind. I don't know if it's a situation where he's focused on cutting and he forgets for a split second about the ball security, and then he fumbles. He had the same problem at the collegiate level. He had some of these same problems even before 2024, let alone this season. So I'm not exactly sure what it is. And at this point, I don't even know how exactly you fix it, because a lot of times for guys that have those fumbling problems, I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't focused on the ball security. But if Mondre knows these things and he says that he pounds that same kind of mindset, time after time, is that I got to take care of the football, but he's still having these issues, then if you know you're trying to take care of the football and you're telling yourself to take care of the football, but you're still fumbling, then where is this disconnect? Are your arms not strong enough? Do you got to do more bicep curls during the week? Like, I'm not really sure what happens. I'm not sure where we go from here at this point, but I hope that at some point it clicks for him. I just think that it's kind of glass half full to think that it is going to switch for Ramondre, and that suddenly he's going to be a guy that doesn't fumble the football at all. And I think that Ramondre is the type of guy where what we saw last year isn't who he is. I thought last year was uncharacteristically bad of him. But Ramondre is also never going to be one of those running backs that never fumbles the football during the season. It's just not who he is. It never was.
I feel for the kid. I seriously feel for the kid. I just don't know what we do from here with him. Luckily, I don't have to make a decision, because if I did, I probably would cut him, because I'm really sick of it, man. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is that the team won't, based off of how they talked about him, saying how much they need him. I think taking him out was also a situation where we're trying to protect you and not just protect the football team. At least right now, he's not going anywhere. We'll see at the end of the season. But shout out to my boy Beantown Breakdown, who says, "What's good, Colby? I've been going to Pats games since 1992 and a season ticket holder since 2001. The last 2 seasons have been the worst I've seen." Yeah, man. I mean,
I don't know about that. Didn't we have like 0-16 team?
Since 2023, these have been pretty bad teams, man. I mean, look, granted, I was born in 2001, but I mean, this has at least been the worst football we've seen from the Patriots in a long time. There's definitely no doubt about that. Shout out to my boy Beantown Breakdown. Rob, let's go ahead and let's transition on into these wide receivers. Like we alluded to, you did have Ramondre Stevenson be second for you in receiving yet again.
That's so bad.
He had a total, Ramondre Stevenson, 3 targets, 3 receptions, 38 yards, 12.7 yards per reception. Hunter Henry led this team in targets, receptions, and yards. Have a day Hunter Henry, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 90 yards, 11.3 yards on average, and 2 touchdowns. I thought Austin Hooper played a really, really good game today also. There was that one pass breakup that everybody was crediting the defensive back, but like, you're a big body tight end. You're supposed to work well through contact. I was expecting Austin Hooper to come down with that one. So in my opinion, one bad drop that I think he should have had, but 3 targets, 2 receptions, 28 total yards. I want to continue to see him get involved. Drake Maye loves his security blankets. He loves those big body tight ends that are good through contested situations, play in between the numbers. We definitely want to see more of them. Kayshon Boutte had some moments today. 3 targets, 2 receptions, 28 yards. Matt Collins, same thing. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 27 yards. Stephon Diggs, pretty quiet day, but caught everything his way. 3 targets, 3 receptions, 23 yards. For me, I would love to see more of these veterans get involved. I would love to see more of Stephon Diggs. I thought that Drake Maye went his way during times of needs, 3rd down, 4th down situations. Matt Collins, kind of that same situation. If we're going to start passing the football more and we're going to be passing it 30, 40 times a game, I want to see Diggs on the field more. I want to see Matt Collins out there on the field a little bit more, because those are guys, those are veteran guys that know where to be and they understand the fundamentals of football and ball security more specifically. So at this point, while the offense figures out its footing, I don't want to see these young wide receivers out there all that much. I want to see what's going to be best for Drake Maye and the success of this offense.
I agree with you, man. But one word I have to say for our wide receiver core and our tight ends today is reliable. Like, for the most part, they did their job. Hunter Henry, I believe he had a chip block on TJ Watt, which he got the touchdown after that. Like, Hunter Henry, when does he not go off against the Steelers? Like, that's just what he does. So and then everybody just did what they had to do in the wide receiver core and with the tight end group. Yeah, I could see. I mean, that Hooper hit him in the hands. He probably should come down with that. But like, I don't. He doesn't really make too many mistakes for me to be like, okay, no, they're reliable. And I got like you said, maybe get the vets in there and keep them in there and start. I don't know. Pop maybe needs to sit on the sidelines, man, and just maybe use more 2 tight end sets more.
Yeah, as Ashton said too, there was a one point where Henry got injured. Looked like his knee got rolled up on there, but
that was on
okay, and he came back.
The goal line. That was pretty. That was scary. That was scary.
That was on the Ramondre fumble, because he got injured and he had that really good play up the seam, and then the next play Ramondre fumbled, and we were like, damn, so much for the Hunter Henry catch where he just literally got injured.
Henry is so reliable, man. Like, the guy is just like the model of consistency. He anytime you need him, like, he's really just like, that is Drake Maye's binky. And he's been nothing. Not only is he just a damn good player on the field and reliable on the field, but he's just an even better person for this team moving forward as far as in the locker room, because he's just a stand-up person. And I'm happy and I'm hoping that somehow he can get through to some of these other players on this team, because for God's sake, this needs to be turned around.
Agreed. Rob, let's get into the offensive line for this game. Obviously, a big center around the New England Patriots for the entire season, after over the last 2 years, they've had the worst offensive line in the league, according to PFF, both in pass blocking and run blocking. Just your initial thoughts at looking at this game. What did you think about the performance of the offensive line in run blocking and pass protection?
They for what it was worth, I thought that they did a pretty good job. We had our opportunities, man. Like, you're gonna like that Steelers defense. No matter what the numbers say, man, they're a good defense. They just have not performed up to that level, and they obviously have one of the highest pressure rate, if not one of the highest pressure rates in the NFL, and one of the highest blitz rates. So they're gonna get home to the quarterback. Like, TJ Watt logged his first sack for the first time in 6 games. It's like I kind of jinxed it. If you kept them for the most part in check, I know you're gonna see those sacks, but they gave Drake Maye time. They pushed the pocket and they gave our running backs room to work. They did. I think I'm not gonna say they did a great job, but I think they did pretty damn good for what it's worth.
Guys, before we continue on today's stream, do me a big favor and leave a big like on the live stream. Help support us out significantly. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys follow us here at Patriots Global for all your New England Patriots watch parties, post-game recaps, previews, and everything in between. Would really mean a lot to us. 97 watching live on YouTube right now, more on Twitter, but only 34 likes, guys. If you want to see more of this content, make sure you guys slam that like button, support the channel, share it with some friends. Make sure to hype up the streams too. The more you guys show love, the better the videos do. I promise it's not for looks. It's not the classic YouTuber thing where I'm like, hey guys, subscribe and hit that like button. When you guys like, when you guys share, when you guys comment, and when you guys subscribe, it helps the videos and it helps the channel so damn much. Unlike a lot of other places out there that you're probably getting your Patriot sources from, I do everything by myself. This is a one-man band. I do all the graphics. I do all the editing, all that good stuff, the prep for the show, the post-game prep for the show, all of that. So make sure you guys go ahead and slam that like button because it goes a long way in supporting the channel. But when you look at the metrics for this offensive line, these are early metrics. I believe this is according to PFF. Morgan Moses, 47 total snaps. He allowed 3 pressures and had a 76.6% one-on-one for his a percentage for his one-on-ones. Moving on to Garrett Bradbury, struggled a little bit more today than we've seen in recent history. 4 pressures, 1 sack allowed, and a 48.9% win rate for his one-on-one matchups. Michael Onwenu on 47 snaps. He has 4 pressures allowed, 1 sack, and a 42.6% win rate on his one-on-one matchups. We got to Will Campbell earlier. Jared Wilson starting there at left guard on 47 pass snaps. He allowed 6 pressures, 1 sack, and had a 74.5% win percentage on his one-on-one matchups. Ramondre Stevenson on 8 snaps allowed 1 pressure and an 87.5% win rate on his one-on-one matchups. Hunter Henry on 6 snaps goes 2 pressures allowed, 1 sack, and a 100% win rate on his one-on-one matchups. Austin Hooper on 5 snaps. Actually doesn't record any statistics there. Matt Collins allowed on 2 snaps, 2 pressures. Antonio Gibson on 2 snaps, nothing. And then Travion Henderson on 2 snaps allowed 1 pressure. So in terms of blocking for Drake Maye, those were your overall numbers. I thought that they blitzed the absolute hell. And we got to those numbers earlier, but they blitzed the absolute hell out of Drake Maye. Something we knew that they were going to do. Rob and I said in the pre-game preview that that's exactly what they were going to do. One of the highest blitzing rated teams in the NFL with about a 34-35% blitz rate percentage. They got pressure on Drake Maye. I thought there were times he got the football out quickly. I thought that there were also times that he ran the football to avoid the pressure. So I think that he really negated what could have been a much worse performance by that O-line. But on that interception, had pressure. Or excuse me, not on the interception, on the fumble, he had pressure. The running game and blocking there, it was a little bit inconsistent. I would be interesting to see the overall gradings when they drop by PFF, but I thought that the offensive line wasn't great today. I thought it was probably their worst overall performance that we've seen so far this season. Week 1, they allowed Drake Maye to have an average time to throw of 2.93 seconds. Last week against Miami, it was about 2.74.
7 something.
It was like 2.74 seconds time to throw. I'm expecting that to go even lower this week. So obviously not exactly in the trajectory that you want. But Rob, let's go ahead and let's transition on over to this defense. And usually we start with the secondary. This time I actually want to switch that up. And I want to start here with the defensive line because you look at it and there were times that they applied pressure. There were times they got to Rodgers, but they're able to put up 0 sacks on him. Okay, that doesn't happen all that often to get 0 sacks on Aaron Rodgers. We said you had to put that pressure on him. You had to create that pressure within the interior of the D-line. And if you did, that was going to throw him off platform for a guy that at this point in his career, due to his age, isn't the Aaron Rodgers he used to be that can extend those plays and get outside the pocket and run. Felt like for the most part, they weren't able to do that in this game. Definitely weren't able to capitalize with any sacks. What were your thoughts on the Patriots' ability to get pressure on Rodgers?
I mean, would have had a sack. If not for Alex Austin, was it a holding? Pass interference? I can't remember. At this point, like Alex Austin really played. Yeah, he had a bad game. Yeah, Milton Williams would have had a sack. Look, the Steelers' offensive line is not good. They should have been able to get pressure. I don't understand why they didn't, especially with a guy that like I'm curious what the numbers will be, how many times he lined up in the shotgun. I wish I would have been more calculated and started writing it down. But whenever he was under center, they should have been like trying to get home. And they did. They tried. I don't know what was in the water this morning. Maybe what was in the Gatorade. They just couldn't get to him. That he was getting the ball out quick, and it's just like he was capitalizing off our mistakes. He didn't do anything special, Aaron Rodgers, and because we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. Alex Austin's penalties and holdings and everything else that just went into this damn game.
I'm going to give you a stat here. Today was the first time Aaron Rodgers had not been sacked in a game since 2022. So the Patriots did really struggle to generate some consistent pressure, and you're giving way too much money to Harold Landry. You're giving way too much money to Christian Barmore and Milton Williams. You need those guys game in and game out to be able to be game wreckers. And last week against Miami, they struggled in 3 out of 4 quarters to consistently apply that pressure. But we didn't really talk about it because in the fourth quarter, they put up over a 60% pressure rate. And we were like, all right, they'll figure it out for next week. Ultimately, they were not able to do so. And that is something that they are going to need to be able to figure out. So nonetheless, I thought that they had some interesting blitz packages, especially with Robert Spillane, but
Spillane had a really good game. Spillane had a really good game.
Yeah, I agree. Christian Ellis, though. Christian Ellis still struggling. Hopefully he has
keeps missing tackles.
But like you alluded to, Robert Spillane, I thought he was all around the football. This time tackles correctly, stops guys in their tracks. Had the interception also, exactly the bounce back that you wanted from your number one linebacker that you paid good money to this offseason. And I was impressed. I don't want it to sound like we're hating on the defense because the defense overall had a pretty good game. I think the offense put them in a lot of really, really, really rough positions. And the fact that they only gave up 21 points really isn't bad. The only time that they whiffed was early on in the game. And then unfortunately, the final drive of the game. But like you alluded to, there were a couple of penalties in there also, which didn't exactly help them. That was that final Marcus Jones touchdown that he allowed that didn't exactly help. But
yeah. I mean, you can't do much if your team is constantly coughing up the football in the most inopportune moments and in inopportune places on the field. They had 203 total yards. Like, this defense did its thing, whether they got to the quarterback or not. Like, what did they really do that was bad? They started off pretty shaky, but they did their thing. 203 yards. They did nothing on the ground, and we gave them the football in the best possible places they could be in for the and they capitalized off it. We can't do anything but try to reflect and try to be better next week, because I don't think this defense it did bad at all today. I think they did a pretty damn good job. It's just like you said, they got to get pressure on quarterbacks, especially ones that are like two weeks away from getting an AARP card.
Yeah, definitely got to do better at putting pressure and consistent pressure there on Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, he was 16 for 23, 193 yards, 8.7 yards on average, 2 touchdowns, and interception, overall rating of 96.1. And then on the ground had 4 attempts for 1 yard, averaging 0.3 yards per carry. There was also a point where it was late into the third quarter, and there was this stat that they threw up there on the board that I wanted to share with you guys. So getting close to the beginning of the fourth quarter, Aaron Rodgers' stat line was 11 for 16, 89 yards, and a 1-for-1 touchdown interception ratio. Drake Maye, though, was 16 of 24, 154 yards with also a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Rodgers was not good in this game. I thought that the defense played essentially how they wanted to. I thought that Jaylen Warren was eating them alive a little bit on that first defensive series, and then on the final defensive series, he started to get things going. But for the most part, I thought they did really, really well, especially in the third quarter, being able to shut him down, rather. He was 18 attempts, 47 yards, 2.6 yards on average, and then Kenneth Gainwell ran the ball 4 times, 16 yards for 4 yards on average. So for the most part, they shut their run game down. I think that that's been the most surprising thing about New England throughout the first 3 weeks, is that we were like, this secondary is going to be great. This pass rush is going to be great, but can they stop the run? Inconsistencies with the pass rush, inconsistencies with the secondary with Gonzo out. One thing that has remained consistent is their ability, rather, to be able to stop running backs and make opposing offenses one-dimensional, saying that if you're going to beat us, you are going to have to beat us through the air. And that's exactly what they did yet again today. Even when it comes to what the Patriots were able to do against the run, I want to make sure I get this right, but you had Robert Spillane with a tackle for loss today, Caleb on Chason with a tackle for loss, Milton Williams with 2 tackles for loss, Jack Gibbons with the tackles for loss, Farmer with the tackle for loss. So a lot of guys were coming in and making their names heard, but unfortunately, it didn't go the way that the Patriots needed it to. And in large part, again, because the offense gave the Steelers offense a really good starting field position on just several different occasions.
It also doesn't help when the first quarter, this is how you start the game. 1 fumble, 2 sacks, 2 first downs, 4 penalties, 7 passing yards, 20 total yards, and the disparity in time of possession is 10 minutes to 4. Like, it I don't know. Because it's not a team that I feel like is in a position now to be playing from behind yet. Like, we cannot, because I feel like they kind of get the yips and they kind of overdo it. And they're not in, this team is not in a position yet to play with confidence. And I feel like, and I was saying, man, this would have been the first back-to-back wins since 2022. And it would have been nice, man, to just this would have been a confidence booster. But they keep taking 1 step forward and 5 steps back. You got the second quarter. If you notice, you look at this is the first quarter. The red signifies bad plays. That's a lot. But then they had a play, the yellow. That's the drive they scored a touchdown. But then you got another red again. So it's they're putting themselves in position to not flourish. It's just you can't keep on making boneheaded mistakes, because teams like this, Vrabel has said it probably ad nauseum. You have to capitalize. What we need to do is being able to beat bad teams. We need to capitalize off teams that make mistakes, and especially the bad teams. And we're at the point where I don't think we're in that position just yet. Spillane did play. God, he played great today.
I do believe that this team is getting better as time goes on, and as wild as that sounds, and it's only 3 weeks. It's only 3 weeks, and I know that. I want to put that caveat on that before anyone flames me in the comments. But this team is getting better as time goes on. Like I said, I think there's still things that they need to figure out. Rob, you look at Robert Spillane, right? Struggled, has gotten better. The secondary struggled, but has gotten better. The defensive line struggles at times, but they're getting better at building that consistency, and you see the flashes. The offense is getting better each and every single week. It just comes down to limiting the turnovers, because the truth of the matter is that if you turn the football over once, your chances at winning the game are going to go down. You lose a turnover battle, your likelihood of winning that game is going to go down. You have to play clean football. That's where this team needs to start, and they also have to get better at the penalties. My last thing here for the defense is that I know that there were a few penalties. You had one on Marcus Jones. You had one on Carlton Davis. You had 2 on Alex Austin. I'd even say that the refs were a little bit rough in this game. They felt very anti, and I'm not blaming the refs for what happened.
Exactly. Don't do that.
But the refs did feel very anti-Patriot at time. I mean, that one on Carlton Davis and DK Metcalf, they were going back and forth. I thought that was very wish-washy. I thought the one on Carlton Davis was also pretty rough. And then I also thought the one on Marcus Jones, who was trying to tackle the ball carrier, they flagged him like he was trying to chip the blocker. And it's like, dude, look at the damn play. He was trying to get the ball carrier. I thought that was pretty rough too. But again, I do think that this team is getting better as time goes on. Big thing that they have to focus on that will kill any team, good or bad, no matter how good your personnel is. This will kill any team. Turning the football over and the penalties. If they can stop those 2 things, this is a completely different team that I think will really start to shock and put some fear into the NFL. But Rob, any last thoughts?
I just personally think that this team's not as bad as what everybody thinks they are. You're putting yourself. If they're not turning the football over, this is a blowout. If we just fumble 3 times, this is a blowout. Like we're putting the position. This was not good Steelers. This was bad Patriots. Like I call me a homer, whatever. I don't think this team is as bad as people think they are. If they were not moving the football, then yeah, okay. Come at me and tell me, hey, listen, Rob, you don't know what you're talking about. They're not a good team. They can't move the football against that Steelers defense. Even with all the crap that was going on today, they were still moving the football. And not only that, this is a defense that was giving up God knows how many yards, right? They gave up 203 total yards today. So this is progress. And we don't expect this team to just be flipping a switch and suddenly be like some type of Super Bowl contender. We're going to take our licks. But you know what? I would rather deal with these problems now than be and address them than be in the position later on in the season and not be able to correct it. Because me personally, I think these things are correctable. It's just going to take them doing it. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's not like it's impossible. Just don't turn over the football 5 times. Like you said, maybe 1 less turnover. We win this game. Look at the damn numbers. We were like every damn number across the board. I know we're not going to box score watch, but they weren't doing anything special against us. We lost the game. They didn't beat us.
Yeah, I agree with you, Robin. And my last question here for you is, because I saw this question earlier in the chat, I don't remember where it went, or I tried to pull it up, is they have one open roster spot. Do you believe that Tavai comes in? Because this is my theory. I think that the reason that there's been an open roster spot on the 53 and they haven't signed anyone is because they know exactly what they're going to do with that. And that is going to be to bring back Jelani Tavai. He has to be out for the first 4 weeks of the season, meaning he has to be out next week. As soon as he can come back is week 5. But do you believe that that spot will be for Jelani Tavai, try to get an upgrade here on the defensive side of the football? And if he does come back, do you think that that is an upgrade over Christian Ellis?
100%. 110%. I don't like Tavai in coverage. I think he sometimes loses where he's at, but he was also playing out of position. So if he has to play to his natural position where he's possibly trying to rush the quarterback a little bit more often, to go along, maybe to pair that with maybe a Christian Gonzalez addition, this defense can cause some problems. And I think that, yes, I think Christian Ellis needs to go strictly back to like a situational role and maybe more on special teams and have Tavai just fill his position.
Yeah, I think Tavai struggles in coverage a little bit, but at the end of the day, we can't say, oh, well, Tavai struggles in coverage, so we can't put him out on the field. But then Christian Ellis is out there on the field struggling in coverage and to tackle, and it's just like, well, all right, I have to pick your poison at that point. I'd rather have the guy that's a good tackler but might struggle in coverage than a guy who can't tackle and is inconsistent in coverage. So, yeah, I do agree with you on that Jelani Tavai take. But let's go ahead and let's transition on into the Patreon members. We got DTN behind the scenes, and DTN, man, if you're on the train,
I've said enough. I'll let DTN have the floor.
I feel bad for the people if DTN is on another train, because it might be one of those situations where DTN has a whole side of the train to himself because people are scared that he's screaming at his phone. So let's bring on in DTN, man. I know that you're feeling just as bad about that loss as everyone else.
I want to say 2 words, or maybe like a full entire sentence. Running back equals locale of the week, pincoined by urinating tree, because it seems like this theme of this game has all been running backs not knowing how to secure the ball, minus Gibson because Peppers made a play. But I want to talk about the biggest loser in any of our boards, and I know Rob said it himself. It's about time for Ramondre Stevenson to say bye, Felicia, because at this point, what has Stevenson done for me this past couple games, let alone that game against Miami? He has shown me nothing. Like, how can you not secure the ball? Is he carrying the ball in like harm's way? What is going on with Stevenson of why he is not doing his job of securing the ball, and let alone make these kind of dumb situations? Like, we were in the goal line, we were supposed to score that touchdown, first drive of the game, you started off in the worst way possible for our defense. I'm like, this is not how a running back should be, let alone being your bell cow running back, for goodness sakes. I think it's about time for Ramondre Stevenson to go, because at this point, why are there still people saying like, oh, let's bring back Stevenson because of this? If I go to the game next week, because I am going to the Patriots-Panthers game next week. So if I sit in the stands and see that Ramondre Stevenson is starting for us and he makes the same shit, then I'm going to be losing my mind, for goodness sakes. This is not what I want to see. And let alone, people were like criticizing like the defense because of because of this and that. Stevenson basically put this defense in the most precarious situations. And I'm like, if you're saying you don't want, if you're saying that I can't hold the ball, they don't need me. Well, good thing is they don't need you because you don't know how to hold the damn
We do actually
ball.
need him. I'm serious. Like, I think we do actually need his production. We just don't need that other side of him. DTN, I'm sorry for interrupting. Yeah, I'll go back to shutting up.
No, that's fine. But I want to talk about some of these penalty calls. I understand. I'm a little pissed about one thing. We allowed the Steelers to not only take advantage of our stupid mistakes at home, but they haven't beat us since 2008 when we had Matt Castle as our quarterback. That's how embarrassing it was. And what's even worse, and I know that I'm not to jinx it, we are 1-7 wearing these throwbacks. We haven't won a game wearing these throwback uniforms since the Detroit Lions game. We haven't won at home since that Jets game. And I'm not counting that Bills game because we all know that Bills game was a complete disaster. But I'm saying is that, well, minus all of these things, urinating Tree says it best. And I get it, he's a Steelers fan, but we basically beat ourselves. So basically, I'm just saying that if Ramondre Stevenson, or basically this offense, because I think Josh McDaniels is another loser in my books, it would have been a different story. We would have been taking advantage of this deteriorating Steelers defense, who lost Alex Highsmith, Joey Porter Jr., and Deshaun Elliott, and then just win the game, and then the defense make plays, because I felt like the defense improved. I felt like Zach Orr's play calling looked a lot better than what I anticipated. So at the end of the day, go ahead.
Well, DTN, this is why I want to kick it to you, because I want to hear who your classic winners and losers are from this game.
Oh, good thing you asked me, because my winner is definitely Hunter Henry, especially when he was down for that one injury, but he came back, bounced back with those 2 tutties. So I was really proud of Hunter Henry, as always. My second winner is definitely Robert Spillane, because even though he started off slow, at least he bounced back. And that's what you want to see out of players. It's starting off slow, but then bouncing back. And that's what I care about. And then my third winner, once again, it's going to be Harold Landry. If we recover that fumble in that special team play, in that one of the special teams play, we would have had the ball and we would have scored from there. Because obviously the Steelers special teams, they're not good. So we would have taken advantage of that. And now here comes my losers. And we're not going to discuss this again, because Mondre is one of them. Josh McDaniels is another. My third loser. Oh my God, this is gonna break some hearts. I just feel like Pop still hasn't shown me anything. And this is the third game that he hasn't shown me anything, let alone that fourth down call that would have been converted to a first down, because
DTN.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Go ahead.
But when has Pop shown anything ever?
Never.
No, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be.
I feel like 2023
an
he
ass.
was pretty good. He
Come
put up
on.
what,
He
like
is-
500-600 yards?
Oh, okay.
He had like 3 touchdowns last week, but the first
You
You have
two-
17. You have
Yeah.
17 games now to do
Well, we
that.
have to understand what Pop Douglas is. If you're expecting him to go 800 to 1,000 yards, like he's
Wait,
not
wait,
a
wait,
wide
wait,
receiver
wait.
1 or wide receiver
That's what
2.
we're hyping. That's what we've been told, Colby. Normally we agree on things, but that has what we've been told. Even Stephon, do you remember the clip with Stephon Diggs and Pop Douglas in the offseason before they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out, right? We're gonna find out. You're sleeping on Pop. He's like, oh yeah, they're gonna find out. You'll see, right? I don't know if you remember that clip where Stephon Diggs and Pop were.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. I'm still waiting. Hey, listen. If I'm wrong about Mondre and Pop, I will be the first person to eat my crow. And you know what? I hope I am. I would love to eat it because I want to be wrong.
There's one thing about Pop that I did not realize, that he is not durable because he did have a couple of injuries during his rookie season, and then Pop, man,
I don't know. That's
I don't
not
know.
really applicable to this right now, though.
But here's
right
one-
now, it's just the production that he's not getting.
I think that it's about time where we see more of Kyle Williams. And do you think, I'm going to ask you this, Colby and Rob, and you can both answer this, and I'll give my few shout outs. Do you think it's about time that the Patriots should activate Efton Chisholm, or it's too early to tell?
Well, there was an update on what he's doing this offseason, or what he's been doing, rather, over the last couple of weeks, other than this offseason. And essentially what they're doing with him is they're trying to teach him how to be a pro, how to have the schedule, how to have the consistency on and off the field and at practice. It sounds like they weren't ready to throw him out there in the regular season week 1. I feel like with them wanting him to get on this specific schedule, it's because they don't want to ruin his confidence. They don't want to throw him out there into the ocean a little bit too soon and then get fed on. I think they have this real plan for Efton Chisholm in the future. So I think they're going to be slow with him. I think they're going to be cautious with him. I think we could see him later on in the season, but honestly, I don't think that they're rushing him. I think they understand he's a project, and he's a project that they are making sure that they work well and hard on.
I couldn't agree more. I think he needs to be eased into it. Maybe when he eventually starts getting touches at a limited basis, because like he said, get his confidence up. Now, when it comes to Kyle Williams, like he made a play or two today, right? So I would like to see more Kyle Williams, even if it is just being a distraction, because if you send him deep, people are going to have to account for him, because it's going to open up the field a lot more. You're not going to be able to load the box too much. So I would like right now, just because of where the draft status of a Kyle Williams was, I think we should elevate him at some point. And I think Pop Douglas should sit it out, because at this point, I don't know if it's a scheme thing. Actually, he should be flourishing in this offense. But I would like to see some more Kyle Williams. But as far as Efton Chisholm goes, I 100% agree with Colby. He's our little secret weapon. He's our little gold nugget that we want to. We're slowly but surely polishing it. It's got a little bit of rust and everything on it. We want him to be eased into this. Because I think he has something special about him, and I don't want to ruin that. So just a couple plays here and there, but I'm talking maybe mid-season, not anytime soon. But Kyle Williams,
last thing you want to is like, this offense is out there and this team is out now with another guy who's trying to figure out how to transition to the NFL by himself, while this team in and of itself is trying to figure out how that it's developing in the new era of itself in year 1 of this brand new regime. And then if you just have those guys trying to do both at the same time, it makes it a lot more complicated. I think it's the same reason that they're not throwing Kyle Williams out there all that much. It's kind of the same thing, but I think that they understand that Kyle Williams, a little bit more ready for the NFL, also a 3rd round pick. You got to get those guys involved a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker. But I think we're kind of seeing the same same style of what they want to do with those young receivers. But DTN, my guy, we appreciate you so
Actually,
much
one
for
more
coming
thing.
on in,
There's
man.
one more
Oh,
thing
one
before
more?
I let you go. Actually, I just want to remind Patriots fans of something because I think has been a pattern for the past 5 seasons. The first 3 weeks to start up the season, we've been 1 and 2. Basically, week 3. It's since 2021. We lost in week 3. For 2021, we lost to the Saints. In 2022, we lost to the Ravens. 2023, we won against the Jets, but we were 1 and 2. And then 2024, we lost the Jets. So I don't want to say it's a pattern
Nice pull.
because I hope that we can improve on something. So I don't want to hear Patriots fans saying like, let's give up this season because we looked a lot better than all the seasons past. So I'm hoping and praying that the Patriots can learn from all of these stupid mistakes that have been making and move forward when we go up against Carolina at home, because I don't know what's been going on with the Patriots losing at home, because I don't know if it's that huge Jumbotron or is it because of this new scoreboard or something. But what I do know is that Patriots need to take advantage at home. And I'm hoping and praying when I have my own take tomorrow live on my Patriots Mayflower Voyage series, episode 6, that the Patriots, when I watch the film, they can improve on something, let alone make these kind of mistakes moving forward and then having to worry by like November and December.
For sure. Well, DTN, we appreciate you so much for coming. Actually, go ahead and check out our boy DTN. He likes to talk about the Patriots on YouTube too, so go ahead and check him out. But Rob, just any last thoughts about this team, where they're currently at? Obviously, next up, they face the Carolina Panthers next week, still at home. Carolina coming off their first win this season, blowing out the Falcons. So bad that Michael Penix got benched and Kirk Cousins ended up coming in. So I hope that that's an opportunity for them to get confidence. At this point, you really never know.
I don't know, man. And this is another game that, like, you see what they just did against the Falcons, 30-0. And that's a quarterback that's pretty damn mobile. So I honestly, like, until I see something a little bit more consistent out of this team, it's going to be pretty hard to pick them to win any games, because this team is so Jekyll and Hyde, and I'm tired of it. And I just want to see, what is your identity? Who are you? And just, like, please, for the love of God, play more disciplined. Stop turning the football over and give us Patriots fans hope, because right now it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to just keep on doing this rah-rah every week. And guys, we're going to keep telling it as it is. If something's wrong, I'm going to point it out. So will Colby. But I truly don't think this team is as bad as today is. I truly think that this team is at very least a 9-win team. They just got to clean it up.
One. All right, 1 second, guys. We're going to switch it up here to the alternate microphone. Saw some of you guys say the audio was being weird, and it is certainly bugging out right now.
It's not mine, is it?
No, it's mine. The whole thing's bugging out a little bit, so I had to restart it. So not sure what that was about. Dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties. I saw everybody say,
You know what? It's kind of part of the course, though, because it's like everything else today was just like technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties everywhere. So restarted my audio system. So it's going to be back up here in a second. While we get that one figured out, let's hear from our final Patreon member before we log off. What's going on, Red Sox?
What's going on?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
What are your thoughts on that loss?
It was sloppy. I mean, that's kind of the reality. I mean, yeah, they just played sloppy. You gave the ball away too many times. You had 2 opportunities in the red zone. I think they had like 4 overall opportunities in enemy territory to put up some kind of points. The score really should have been like 40-21 or something. So, I mean,
Yeah, should have put up a lot more points. That's for sure. More than they
And
did.
Colby's back. And Colby's back. There you go.
Thank
No
God.
more robot. No more robot, Colby.
Did I really sound like a robot? Like, was it that bad?
It was like I thought my mic was messing up because it's like obviously I'm gonna blame myself first, but dude, it sounded like it was a hard listen.
Damn.
yeah.
It happens. Human Colby, robot Colby.
My bad. I didn't know it was bad until like I'm looking down at my audio system and it's just like glitching, and I'm like, oh,
Spazzing out.
yeah, I don't know what that was about. That's not what you want to see. But Red Sox, any last thoughts about the Patriots and this loss and where they go from here heading into Week 4?
I think this team really misses Christian Gonzalez.
I don't know
because
about that.
Alex Austin,
At least not this week. At least not this week. I don't know about that. Because like this game wasn't because if Christian Gonzalez plays or not, we'll probably still lose this game.
Well, I mean, I think after at least in the first two drives, you could tell.
Okay, I got you. I
think if Christian Gonzalez comes back, you don't have Alex Austin as the liability. Two big plays.
Okay, I stand corrected.
1 third down, a third down, and then a touchdown. Well, not really a touchdown, but 2 third downs, one in the red zone, and then one to start a drive. That while you can make an argument against the penalty, he held on the out route and he held in the end zone.
And DK doesn't get that touchdown.
What?
And DK doesn't get that touchdown over Gonzo.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of just where it ends with that. But in terms of the offense, I mean, where do you start? I mean, I think the only bright spot was really like Will
you gotta
Campbell.
really think about it.
Like Will Campbell was probably the only like real bright spot. I mean, I saw somebody posted in the Discord his like the win rates. I'm like, he had an 87% win rate. He was solid all game.
Can I say something so far? And people think I don't eat crow. So far, I've been wrong on Will Campbell. So I stand corrected so far.
He's looked good.
He
looks like a rookie on some plays, but he's looked like potentially a really, really great tackle for the Patriots going forward. Drake Maye, if you can get rid of his tendency to hold the ball for too long, like he'll be solid going forward. A little bit of cleanup work on that. Ramondre Stevenson, I mean, unless he, like, realistically, he's the best running back on the team right now in terms of running the ball and catching the ball. He's been their probably
Can't
one of
disagree
their
with
top
you.
weapons. He's been one of their top weapons. He'll continue to be that throughout the season. If he continues to fumble the ball, he won't be on the team next year. Like, that's where I'm at with that. They're going to run it through this season, and that's going to be the end of it with him. And unless he doesn't, like, if the next 15 games, if he does, or 14 games, my bad, if he runs the ball, he gets 900 more yards, puts up another 800 yards receiving because he's been a receiving back for some reason, and he doesn't fumble the ball again, okay, maybe now you're talking about, like, now he's got a chance to be on the team next year. But, like, I don't see him not fumbling the ball. He's had the fumbling thing his entire time with the Patriots. He just gets loose with the football for some reason when he gets comfortable running, and it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. But, I mean, 2 fumbles in, like, it was one drive fumble, then they had a good drive, and then it was another fumble. I think, like, the next drive or the other next drive after that, like,
Yeah.
Within a short time, you just can't put the ball on the ground twice.
Especially when you have like 15 plus plays and you marching the football 80 plus yards. Like, this is what I'm saying, that I don't think that this team is as bad as they showed today. And not even just that, I think they're actually a pretty good team. It's just that when you go in and put the ball in harm's way, I don't know what else you're supposed to do. Like I said, and I'll say it again, and people could call me a homer. This is not good Steelers. This is bad Patriots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Patriots definitely lost the game for sure. You just can't. I mean, like statistically, Drake Maye had a way better game than Aaron Rodgers.
Double his
Like,
yards
Yeah, I mean,
nearly.
yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, again, going into the fourth quarter, Aaron Rodgers literally like he didn't even get over 100 yards until quarter four. Like it like are we
Exactly.
serious? Like, I don't know.
They had 200 total yards. Like it's like they were giving us the damn game on the
Rob's
flag.
going robot.
Yeah,
Rob's
anyway,
going
I'm
robot.
sorry, man. Now I'm going robot. Screw it.
Rob's going robot too now. Damn it. But Red Sox, any last words before we log off?
I mean, hey, if they clean it up, they'll be fine. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
like, that's kind of it. Like interior offensive line, clean it up a little bit. They play a little better. Drake Maye doesn't hold on to the football for that long, and try to play like a hero or whatever he was doing, running it. And like he just ran into sacks too. Like it was just like stupid shit that they were doing. I don't understand it.
Not people
Like,
putting
and
you
then,
in Rob,
if
robot Rob.
Gonzo comes back, now you're talking like if Gonzo
sorry.
comes back, now you're talking of Carlton Davis, you have Gonzalez on the outside, Marcus Jones in the slot, Alex Austin's the rotational piece. I'm not upset with that either. I think Spillane definitely had a better game. Last week they couldn't tackle a fucking dog. I didn't really see a whole lot of Craig Woodson, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he played, and then the defense looked great today. Aside from 3 drives, they looked awesome. But so that's just how the game falls, I guess. I mean, the thing is the Steelers also have like great rushers. Like, let's not kid ourselves about the Steelers defense. Granted, it's been awful for the past like 3 weeks, and they didn't really play that great today in terms of this, that, and the third, and preventing the Patriots from getting yards. But they
Most
turned
expensive
the ball
defense.
well, exactly. If you TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, that's enough to be like, those are 2 game wreckers. All the pieces around them are also like solid pass rushers too. So it's like, it is what it is. They just had the better time on the field today, but it can
In
change.
the very limited amount of time they had. That's just the crazy
Yeah.
part.
Next
Agreed.
week they got the Panthers, who goose-egged the Falcons today, and that's another story. But
Well, hopefully it
There's
doesn't
always-
happen to the Patriots. But Red Sox, we appreciate you for coming on in, man. Appreciate you for supporting the channel. You and DTN always balling out every single week. Could not be here without you guys, so absolutely appreciate it. And of course, all you guys in the chat watching all my videos, all my shorts, the live streams with Rob, the post games, the preview games, the live watch parties, all that good stuff. Absolutely could not be here without you guys. So really appreciate you for coming on
y'all
and supporting. Man, it was a rough one today. But the New England Patriots are now 1-2. They take on the Carolina Panthers at home next week. Can they finally establish the final piece of the puzzle and start being better at home? Let's see if they can start doing that next week, but only time is going to tell. Make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel here at Patriots Global. Make sure you guys go ahead and check me out, all my other social medias on TikTok, all that good stuff. In fact, you know what? Shameless plug real
At
quick.
this point, go ahead. Like,
might as well, right? Shameless plug. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out the TikTok, because your boy has been, I don't know why it looks like that. Why is it showing all my
what in the world is that?
Yeah, it's showing all of my
all these technical
my
difficulties
descriptions
today.
It's all my descriptions. But guys, go ahead and check me out on TikTok at Patriots Global, releasing a lot of Patriots and NFL related content, all of my thoughts, league-wide, all of that good stuff. Make sure you guys follow me on TikTok. Subscribe here at Patriots Global. Go ahead and check me out on Instagram at Patriots Global, Twitter at Patriots Global. Leave a big like on the video on your way out. Comment your thoughts in the comments section below. Make sure you guys also go ahead and follow Rob on Instagram over at Patriots7. You see the handle there right by his name, right below.
Not the send Mondre to Rikers. That's not included in the tag.
Before the parentheses is Rob's Instagram handle. Posts a lot of Patriots related content, over 30,000 followers.
Don't be confused. That's not that.
Yeah, it's the other one. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow him. But until next time, I'm Colby. That's Rob. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Probably release some content tomorrow. So Rob will see you on Friday. And until next time, Go Pats.
You ain't getting a gold pass from me. Mm-mm.